Hi, I've actually worked more overtime hours this week than my actual full-time job hours. And I'm wondering, those 80 hours all up, will I get paid for that? This week has been an eye-opening sideshow, and the reason why maybe we can't go back to the way we used to work as usual. Welcome to this week's video. My name is Gemma Laurel, and this week is going to be a little bit different because I always try to create uplifting content because my natural set point is to be optimistic and joyful. That's just usually where I sit naturally in my day-to-day life, but this week has really tested my limits. I have hit pretty much every emotion on the spectrum. And I want to be honest with you because sometimes things aren't that great. Maybe I'll regret posting this video later and we'll take it down, but I probably won't because this is the way I document and leave the breadcrumbs of my discoveries. This week in the Australian episode of Suits, get ready for career train wrecks, abusive bosses, and exploitation of staff. Recently I've come across this phrase, the anti-work movement. I've been watching a few YouTube videos and stumbled across this topic and immediately had mixed reactions. Oh, get a job, you hippie! Actually, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Why the f do we work like this? I want to make it clear that I am not an anti-work advocate in any extreme interpretation. Just last month I was working as a white-collar worker in a global law firm, which is about the most corporate sellout job you can possibly think of. And besides, most people working there work 70+ hours a week, so barely have enough time to sleep properly, let alone think of the concept of anti-work. But I will say that any system that starts morphing into tyranny deserves the revolution that is coming. I don't have a torch or a pitchfork. What I understand and what I'm taking away from the whole anti-work movement is that it's not that people don't want to work. They just don't want to work in environments that compromise or exploit people and do nothing to address the situation. Right now, if you're in Sydney, you might have noticed a lot of the train service cancellations because the workers are striking. The amount of people quitting their jobs or striking right now surely is a neon light flashing saying that people are reaching their limit on how workplaces treat them and how much they pay them. I realize that not everyone can be as soulless as me and cut people and things out of their life overnight. I'm kidding, I do have a soul. It's just that I am ruthless about certain things. Do not be fooled by my pink shirt and curly girl hair. You yell at me abusively in the workplace and you're out. But not all behavior is that overt and easy to act on. You can find yourself in a workplace that has become a perpetual revolving door of staff, which leads to shit like this. So sorry, we've had another mass walkout of staff, so we need you to do a full-time role in Team Dinosaur. But I'm already doing a full-time role in Team Precious, so I'm going to have to let them know that I'm leaving. So I need you to do both roles. Both roles full-time at the same time. Yeah, we just don't have enough people, sorry. Do I get the other roles full-time salary too? No, your pay stays the same. Hang on, I'm just trying to send this email to all staff. The firm has made record profit this month. Working double shifts for no extra pay because of labour shortages has become situation normal. Because people are quitting their jobs faster than the business can put up job vacancy notices. So when management blasts out an email to all staff announcing the firm's record profit that month, I had to ask myself, what the actual f***? So I'd like to know, is this something that's going on in your workplace? Maybe drop a comment below. Aussies, is this fair dinkum? Is this going on where you work? Because it seems to be going on a lot. I don't know, they have strikes in law firms? How about my US mates? How's it going over there? Actually, I have heard some news and it's pretty awful. Maybe we don't go there. In a relatively small country like Australia, there's really only so many employees that a business can churn and burn and go through before they run out and realize that's probably not a sustainable business strategy. HR departments are changing every 6 months, whole teams of lawyers are doing walkouts, partners can't hold on to their secretaries for more than 8 weeks, and the whole mess of a hot potato will be thrown at the next new body hire that walks unwittingly through the door. Oh, maybe this place will be better than the last place I just left. Oh, whoa! And it doesn't take a genius to see how this will all end up. We have real problems if the patterns keep replicating despite the abundance of constructive feedback that's left on those apparently inconsequential HR feedback forms. This year I've made a very clear dedication to what jobs and people I say yes to. Of course I communicate this very kindly, but how I want to say it...
Go fuck yourself!
Being ruthless and cutting back on the unfulfilling and the least rewarding people, relationships and experiences is absolutely critical. You need to clear space so that the right people have room to come in. If you're too frazzled, stressed and burned out trying to tread water, you won't even have the space to create the life you want. Which brings me to point number 2. I'm referring to overwork here, not work. The best people I've had the fortune of working with are those who took regular breaks, because it has a spill-off effect. When people take care of themselves, it raises the collective well-being. Imagine if we had workplaces that made you feel guilty for overworking rather than making you feel guilty for having some needed recovery. I mean, it's like being a little baby. We're not at our best when we're tired, cranky, haven't had food, haven't had proper sleep, haven't even had a pee break, and we don't even work very well either under those conditions. And there's a solid risk that we're going to take it out on people around us. Whether that means you're short-tempered, or you place unreasonable demands on other people, or you just ignore people completely, not even saying hello to them, which happens a lot in businesses, not even saying hello to a human being as you walk down the hallway past each other. It's weird. And people do that just to get through their workload. So effectively bypassing your entire life because you're on a timer. The partner in the second job that I have been asked to work for unpaid, they're actually the ones making the most demands, like ridiculous level demands from the 1900s that should have died out with that era. It's busy work and unnecessary and time consuming. Ironically, this person is also working a 4-day work week. But you're not allowed to work a 4-day work week. It's not that you couldn't anyway because you receive an avalanche of 7 days worth of work in those 4 days. I thought the idea of a 4-day work week was supposed to make life easier. Maybe it only seems to work over in Sweden, but here it actually makes things dramatically worse. Because when the partner is at work, it is hell for everyone. Cramming 7 days worth of work into 4 is not making anyone's life any better. Then they also expect you to stay back and work unpaid overtime because they're trying to get all of their work done squeezed into the... No, you're not getting paid for it. But because they own part of the business, their equity, at least they get some kind of reward for flogging themselves. This is an unfolding story, so I'll have to update you in another video because... And some things that have not yet come to pass. A colleague I worked with this year has been a secretary for a generationally challenged partner who's very stubborn and cranky, who is also well known amongst his peers to have anger management issues. He overstepped the line countless times and abused her to the point where she had a breakdown. Then he tried to apologize by taking her out to lunch. She's his secretary, so no doubt she would have had to organize a lunch and then put it in his calendar. There's nothing that screams sorry more than a tax-deductible lunch. This behavior was also red flagged, but nothing has been done about it. Buying your way out of taking ownership of your behavior is the currency of the day, where profit means more than people. My point is, it takes strength to put your well-being first. It takes courage to speak up, especially when you feel like you're on your own in this situation. And sometimes you wonder if you're the only person going through this. You are not crazy and you are not alone. Finally, be ready to move. There's just some stuff you can't change. Whether you choose to move job, move state, or move country, there is something really powerful when you have options. And whatever option feels right to you, take it. Sometimes you have the option there and then and you can leave. If you can take a step back to gather your thoughts long enough to make some better choices, that's awesome, go and do it. But sometimes simply taking incremental steps is the way to go about it. Even if we cannot yet change the immediate situation or get out of it right now, just being in the process of planning your next move gives your soul relief. You'll feel the relief that this situation is not forever, that the shit show is temporary, and you're on your way out. I'd rather have anxiety about the unknown than anxiety about going back into the dark hole that I know all too well. It's really healthy to start treating yourself like your time is valuable, that you are worth being healthy so that you can function. So, mission of the week for all of us, and this is what I'll be doing. Updates will be later. Start imagining the life you want to live. Get really clear on it and specific about it, and imagine the feelings you want to feel waking up every single day. And then do any small step to move towards that. There are 2 areas where we can start making steps, and I'm already plotting and planning how I'm going to do that this week. Firstly, the mental steps. Ask opening questions so that it allows you to feel elevated, such as, what does being appreciated feel like? How does it feel to wake up feeling enthusiastic about the day? What does it feel like to be well paid and actually enjoy the work that you're doing? And then we can play and take it to the next level and ask a question like, how would it feel if I were to walk into a room and know that I own the building? That kind of energy you can generate from within and build upon it. It's starting to carve a new track in your brain. You've got to keep that flame alive, even if it's just a flicker. And the physical side to this, how about brushing up on your CV so that you're ready to go? Update your diary about your big ass dreams. Like, this is the diary you don't share with anyone. You don't tell people your business. I might do another video on that very topic. You could earmark an exit date in your calendar and then create steps back from that in order for you to leave. And another physical step is to remember to breathe deep and slow when you start feeling that anxiety rising and your mind starts running the monkeys all over again. Little shifts like that can shift your whole world. I know that it's having an effect on my current life because I'm making some rather dramatic decisions. So let's go shake things up this week and experience a little taste of the future version of you.